If you want to know the place to go to see a live entertainment show, and you're poking around Central Illinois, look up CU Bands and Fans for the latest shows and bands. You never miss out on your...
Hi, everyone. This is Terry, and we are doing our CU Bands and Fans podcast. And our guest on our podcast today is Rod Sickler. Zach will be joining us soon. He's not with us currently. He's going to be a little bit late joining into this podcast. So that being said, we want to welcome Rod. Rod is the owner of Rod Sickler Salon and Spa in West Champaign. He is also the founder of Red Hot Winter, which occurs every year with the exception of 2020 for obvious reasons.
2021, yeah.
2021. Did you live stream in 2021?
Yeah, what we did was, it's funny, in 2020, we actually got the show in. We were really the last thing before the United States shutdown, before everything shut down. Things shut down on the 17th, and our show was like 10 days earlier. We were the last big thing before people really were just starting to even understand or didn't understand what COVID was yet. And then 10 days later, the world shut down. It was crazy.
That's right. You were able to have that in February of 2020.
Yeah, it was March 6th and 7th. And then the shutdown came, I believe it was my last day at work was March 17th. So I think the shutdown happened March 17th or 18th of 2020. In 2021, we actually did a virtual show. It was on WCIA, and it was what we had done, Terry, is we took the two shows from 2019 and 2020. Willie B. Creative had shot those. That's Bill Thomas. So he shot those shows, and we had about 6 hours of footage that we needed about a 50-minute show. It was actually 48 minutes. So we cut those 2 years into one show that was on TV, and it was good. And actually this year, we are shooting the show again, only with the intent to go on TV later at one point in the year, which we will edit it down, but we'll have some highlights from Red Hot Winter again on TV, probably in around April or so.
Oh, I was going to add, that was one of the questions I was going to ask you, if you were going to have it recorded and videoed and all of that, because Willie B does a fantastic job.
Amazing. And I know WCIA, who's one of our title sponsors, they love working with Bill Thomas and Willie B. Bill's been with Red Hot for almost a full 20 years. He started filming back when we were at the Rantoul Theater Group. We were in Champaign at Grissom Hall Theater. The theater's not even there anymore. And, we've always done this as a fundraiser. And in the early years, we did it for the Rantoul Theater Group. I was the president of the theater board up there. And I thought it was a great way to bring awareness to Rantoul Theater Group, to raise money, and then also kind of to show people what my other job was, that no one understood what I did when I traveled on the road. So I took and it still is that way. I took like a little 15-minute snippet of my show, of the kind of the power opening that we do. And then I built a show around my show, because normally my show is for hairdressers. And with this being for the public, I needed it to make it, entertaining. That's how Red Hot Winter's grown over the last 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah. So Red Hot Winter has been 20 years.
20 years. This is our 20th year anniversary. And this year, Bill Thomas, Willie B. Creative, he's shooting it with, there will be 3 camera operators, plus it'll be a 4-camera shoot with better sound quality. So we're actually going into this for the first time ever, shooting the show to actually be on TV later into the year.
That is wonderful. That's big.
Yeah, it's big. It works. Yeah.
So Red Hot Winter has proved to be very successful for 20 years. That is a long time.
It's interesting, the growth, and from I remember when I first started in Rantoul, and I feel really blessed for this, is when I first started Red Hot Winter, I had one salon in Rantoul, and it was a 2-chair salon. That was it. And we were busy. It was just 2 of us working there. We didn't even have a sign on the door. That's a true story. We didn't even have a sign. It's kind of like we were busy, and we didn't have, my advertising budget was 0. True story. True story. I guess I'd heard it was cool because the cool places out in Los Angeles, you had to know where they were, like they didn't advertise. So I was kind of, okay, let's not advertise. And we were busy enough, just the two of us for sure. And it was strictly referral. And that's when Red Hot Winter started. And the first year that we did it, I think my budget was about $5,000 and tickets were, I think, $10. That's how it started.
Your budget was $5,000.
Yeah, that's right. Something like that. We could only, because it was probably between 5 and 10, because we could only seat about 180 people in the theater. That was capacity, and I didn't know what we would do, but tickets were just $10. That was it. And it was funny to see. I would probably be embarrassed. I mean, that was like kindergarten. Truly, it's like kindergarten back then, 20 years ago. And I'd probably be very embarrassed of that show now to what it is now, to where now the tickets, I mean, the show comes in, I have some trade sponsors, but the show comes in around $140,000 to $150,000 to produce at this point. And, yeah. And
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, it's a risk. In my world, it's a risk. It's like, if we, for whatever charity we pick, and this year it's Aunt Martha's, for whatever charity we pick, they will always make money because we have a mission ask during the show. But for instance, I don't take money from the show. I work for free. Obviously, I'm trying to raise money for charity. And so it's like, it's a risk for me. It's like, if we make money, we give it to the charity. If we lose money, then I get to become the biggest sponsor of Red Hot Winter.
Yeah, there you
I write a check, and so it's I don't know. Yeah, why I do it, I don't know. I do it, which we usually do okay. There's been years we have lost money, and this year is going to be hard because one of the things that's so expensive this year, I work with my music director, Michael Guido Estevez, everyone knows as Guido, and we truly have to play zone defense in that where, Terry, and I know you love our Red Hot band, our Red Hot band, where we have strings and horns and multiple guitar players and a bass and drums, and we can cover any song, and they're just outstanding.
It's magnificent.
Studio level positions. Then we usually bring in about 15 singers, some local singers, but people from around the country, people that have been on American Idol, The Voice, just big, people people you've seen. And this year, what we had to do, it's like instead of one drummer, we have four. Instead of one bass player, we have two. We always have, usually 5 or 6 rock and guitar players, but we have to have more than one keyboard player. We have to have more than one strings. We have to have backups on everything because of COVID. You don't know what's going to happen. And even with the circus acts, a couple years ago, when we moved to the city center in 2019, with the high ceilings, we're able to add circus acts from Vegas. So I work with Cirque du Soleil performers that come in, and we had one circus performer in 2019. We actually did 2 in 2020. And this year we have to do, and they're one of my biggest expenses, obviously, because they are truly working in Vegas. And so we had to have 3 circus performers this year, and not just one, but some of these acts are dual acts. So you bring those people in and hotels and the fee that you have to, because you think if we have 3 circus acts, what if one gets COVID the week they can't perform? Well, we still have 2 great circus acts. So it's like you just have to kind of double up everything. And, my biggest fear was, well, what happens if I get sick? And luckily, I guess that's lucky. I had COVID 3 weeks ago. So,
yeah, you got that over with.
Yeah, one of my big fears is over. But, one of my favorite shows in Las Vegas, and it's very renowned show. Some will say it's the best in Vegas, is Absinthe at Caesar's Palace. It's a Spiegel World show. Spiegel World and Cirque du Soleil are kind of competitive with each other, but they use the same Cirque performers, right? We're bringing in about 30% of Caesar's Palace's show to Red Hot Winter. We have 3 of their huge acts. So I don't know if you've ever seen, you've probably seen some of these people on America's Got Talent, the strong that are hand-to-hand balancers.
Yeah.
We have a duo of those coming in. Have you ever seen the breakneck roller skaters that spin at like 60 miles an hour in this like 6-foot ring?
Yeah.
They are amazing. When I saw them in Absinthe, I was about 2 rows from the stage and I was frightened because they were right in your face. Well, I said, I have to have those guys someday at Red Hot. Well, this is the year we're finally
Are
getting
you
the roller
kidding
skate.
me?
This is what maybe, and these are people that are, or I didn't know if we were going to get them because these are international performers. They were stuck in England due to COVID and they finally got released. So released just in time, they're going to come back. And then apparently I have one of the best 2 jugglers in the world coming in. So those are my 3 circus acts. And I mean, these people are probably working in Vegas tonight, at Absinthe, they'll rotate people around. When I went to Absinthe, I saw, we were there in June, Jackie and I got engaged in June, and we went to Absinthe one night, and the hand-to-hand balancers were there, which are coming in. The roller skaters weren't there, and I was very disappointed. So I absolutely had to bring them for Red Hot Winter because they're my favorite.
I cannot believe that you're doing that. That's going to be amazing.
When we say it's a Vegas style show, it is truly a Vegas style show. You have about a third of one of the top Vegas shows coming in for this. You've also got a band that's like an all-star band from around the area. But I'm bringing my friends in from Florida. Jeremy Harper, Sean Farbin are coming in. They're flying in from Florida. They're part of the Red Hot band that we've built over 20 years. And
I'm excited to see them too.
Oh yeah, God, I love those guys. And then of course you have Amy Mitchell that can sing anything. We're actually, I'm excited. We've got some really cool arrangements for her. And we're excited to add Joe Kirk for the first time this year. Joe Kirk was both on American Idol and The Voice. He was on Team Adam Levine, and Joe's such a great singer. When he auditioned for The Voice, all 4 judges spun for him. So I'm so excited to do that. I actually, I booked Joe. A lot of people don't know this, but I do a lot of booking for the University of Illinois. I produce concerts with the Student Affairs Division. And
I didn't know that.
No one knows I do that. I've done like 15 shows for the U of I in the last, since COVID, when no one was doing shows, because U of I leads the world, or leads the country in their COVID. Also, we're able to do things safely there. And people don't know that I think this is my 8th year of producing the main stage before every football game. Did you know I did that, Terry?
I did not. I'm sitting here going, nope, had no idea.
That's the Red Hot production. Before every football game, I bring in the bands before every football game for the tailgate parties right there at Grange Grove.
Wow, that's great.
And probably the biggest show that we did here last year, we did it for the incoming freshman class, was Ava Max. And a lot of people say, Ava Max, who's that? She was the biggest act that I've ever produced, even bigger. We did Rodney Atkins. I know everyone knows Rodney Atkins, but Ava's actually a bigger act than him when it comes to expense wise. And she
Rod, hang on one.
So Terry, you would know 3 Ava Max songs within 1 second if you played them. So what I want you to do is, when this interview is over, Google Ava Max, and you'll know 3 of her in 1 second. I think people think she's a different artist, but she's had she's had 3 big hits on the radio.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, so back to the entertainment. So it sounds like you have a really tremendous lineup this year, and I'm just gonna say, because I've been photographing Red Hot for 5 years, 6 years, I
think at least that. Yeah.
So
and you're doing it too, right?
Yes, this year again. Yep. And in doing this, so I've watched the changes and the growth, and I wasn't sure that you would be able to top 2019. Yeah. And then you hit 2020. And that was, it was explosive. It's when people ask, what is Red Hot? And I'm like, it's a variety show in essence, that raises a lot of money for whatever you choose to benefit. And this year I was really excited to hear that you were benefiting Aunt Martha's.
Yeah.
So let's do a plug right now for them. Aunt Martha's is a health organization, correct?
Yes, it's a health and wellness. It's through the state. There's over 20 locations throughout the state of Illinois. It's one of the largest federally qualified health centers throughout the state of Illinois. We do integrated healthcare, also care coordination. We even help people get rides if they don't. And the largest, it's mostly for the underserved population, people that maybe have Medicaid or that don't have any insurance or have limited insurance. That is the over 90% of our client. And it's wonderful care. There's actually an Aunt Martha's in Vermilion County in Danville, only about 30 minutes away. But I think that we're going to have we're working on some good news to announce at Red Hot Winter as well. So stand by for a huge update, which is I'm very excited about that. I can't say yet, but I hope to make it an opening night. The CEO of Aunt Martha's will be down. His name's Raul Garza, and he and some of the management team from Aunt Martha's, and it's a huge organization. Did you know that 1 out of every 150 babies born in the state of Illinois, Aunt Martha's delivers?
Did not know that.
And that's the thing for us is, you know, Red Hot Winter is about raising money, but even more than that, Terry, I think Red Hot Winter is about raising awareness for a charity that a lot of people overlook. For instance, for years, we did Rancho Theater Group. No one really knew much about Rancho Theater Group. We did the Tourette Syndrome Association one year, which people really don't understand Tourette syndrome. I suffer from Tourette, so it was a passion project for me to help bring awareness. And I still have parents reach out to me when their children are diagnosed with Tourette's. You'd be shocked at the messages I get that they want to talk to me or they want me to talk to their child, because it's kind of a hopeless diagnosis when you're a child that you think maybe I can't have a somewhat normal life. Well, I think I have a somewhat normal life, and I'm happy with my life. And then, of course, from there, we went to Hospice Hearts, and we did that for years. And I know one thing, not only did we raise money for Hospice Hearts, but we brought so much awareness because it's Red Hot Winter with all the, WCIA is the title sponsor, Illini Radio Group as a big sponsor, and, WAND and a lot of the different, we've worked with Q96. All the digital marketing that we do, Jim Watson Consulting that is a sponsor. It's just the amount of marketing that we can get out in 1 month for a lot of these organizations is things that in their budget they wouldn't have to do for 3 or 4 years, and we get that in a month. And then when you have the group of people coming, we have about 1,000 people that come to watch a show. We have a cast and crew of over 100, so we're really getting the word out. And for me, with Aunt Martha's, as important as anything this year is the awareness to say, who is Aunt Martha's? Who can we help? What do we do? Because this is about saving lives here. This is something that if we could someday perhaps get an Aunt Martha's built here in Champaign, say if that could happen, I believe that we could see 5,000 plus patients a year here of people that maybe they can't get the quality care that we can offer them at Aunt Martha's. And I mean, we do telehealth, we do mental health, we do, family planning. My sister actually works for Aunt Martha's in Danville and Kankakee as she's a nurse practitioner in family planning. We do general health. In some places we do dental, telehealth, like I say, the care coordination. It is a fantastic, unbelievable organization that no one here downstate really knows about. We do a ton of work at Aunt Martha's, tons of work with DCFS to help the DCFS children, not only in medical care, but housing. It's an amazing organization. I'm very, very proud to be a part of, to represent with Red Hot Winter. And I don't know, even working with the Tourette's Association, you know how much I love animals. You know how much I love my dog, Romy. Her and I are here in the salon by in the snow. But for me, this is the biggest passion project at all, because this is a chance to give people that sometimes don't have the opportunities that we can provide with Aunt Martha's, it can change lives here. It can save lives. And if we can get the things done that I want to do with Red Hot and with my work with Aunt Martha's outside, some fundraisers I have planned throughout the year, this to me is something that hopefully, if I make it to 80 years old and no one knows what Red Hot Winter was, Rod Sickler, and we're seeing 5,000 plus patients a year at Aunt Martha's, I
Then there you go.
little bit happier guy.
Yeah, worth all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if people would go to Aunt Martha's, AUNTMARTHAS.org. And while you're there, look up the mission and values statement. I read that today. Yeah, and it's and that right there kind of like gives you a real good insight of what they do and how
And you'll
helpful.
say, wow, you'll say, wow, this was 30 minutes away from us this whole time. And wow, what if you said, wow, what if you said this, Terry? If you went to that site and you read this, what if you said, wow, I could support Red Hot Winter, I could support Aunt Martha's, and maybe we could get a clinic even closer to home. What if you said that when you went to auntmarthas.org? What if you said that? That would be amazing. And
because I did look up locations immediately. I didn't realize there were so many. But I was like, all locations were north, with the exception of Vermilion County.
And we're working on that, Terry. We're working on expanding it even farther, down, maybe even down here in Champaign County someday. Who knows? So
that's awesome. And dental is a huge area.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I know. I had some dental problems. Was it 2 years ago in January, a year ago? Major dental problems, and you called me because I made a post, and you gave me a phone call and was like, "Hey, you talked to me about the symptoms and all that stuff because you had some issues, and you talked about Aunt Martha's then, and I was like, I had no idea that was there, So that's huge. When someone who isn't covered.
It's great healthcare. In some ways, a lot of places aren't even integrated healthcare, which Aunt Martha's is. Which, if you're seeing one doctor, they talk to the other doctor and the third doctor. That's integrated healthcare that you don't even get at some of the best medical facilities in the state. We do that at Aunt Martha's, and I just can't say honestly enough good things about the purpose that Aunt Martha serves here, and we need to get the word out and let people know that it's available right down here in Champaign and Vermilion County.
We will, and you're doing that, and you're doing that at Red Hot this year, and I was really excited to find out who was going to be the benefit, who was going to get the benefits of Red Hot Winter. So that's a good. I think that it will go very well. I hope, and yeah.
But we get behind this. Those of us that can help, we need to help. If there's something we learned through COVID, and it's all hands on deck, and let's help out in any way that you can. And there's something I want to circle back to, Terry, that you said about the 2019 and the 2020 show. Like you didn't think I could outdo 2019, and then 2020 came. I've always kind of made a promise with myself, with every year, that if I don't outdo the year before, that's when I stop. That's when I retire. And I thought, maybe after COVID, I thought, oh, well, maybe it's time for the show to go away. I know a lot of things have gone away, but people wouldn't let me. The people were, and so if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And we have, being the 20th year anniversary, I'm bringing, maybe 10% of my favorite stuff back from over the 20 years. The Mighty J Dog will be back with comedy because, he started with me years ago. I have Caitlin Palufo is coming in. She's a working comedian in New York City. You've seen her on like Stephen Colbert and all the late night. I talked to her. She's really nice, and she'll be here. So we have the national comedians and just a great acts. And I think the thing I'm most proud of for Red Hot Winter is you just don't get bored. If there's something, it's every genre of music. What do you like? It's every genre. Hey, if you don't like this genre, stick around. It's going to change in 6 minutes. Something else. It's breakneck speed.
And the music is just so good. It's
Terry,
just so good.
the
Oh my
eyes
God.
like face when you come to rehearse, because you've seen the show year after year, but your face for me is a joy to watch when you see this. And you're like a child, and it just makes my heart explode when you see it's like, because you don't think I'm going to do it better each year. You say it can't be
I
better
know.
than last. Like, and you look at me, you just shake your head, and it just swells my heart. Uh, we have this big opening plan that's very artsy that maybe not everyone will get, but I do this for art. Ultimately, I'm an artist, and this is what I do. And we're actually using Cranards we're using costumes from Cranard Center this year. We have a costumer coming in, Ashley Courtney, who's now working. She's a lead makeup and hair artist on Chicago Fire from Chicago, is coming in to do the makeup. We have the most spectacular opening that I've ever done in Red Hot Winter. It's a 3 to 4 minute opening. It's very artsy. Not everyone will get it, but I think it's. I hate to say this, but I think it's going to bring tears to my eyes. It has a rehearsal so far. When you see this vision in your head and it finally comes to life. I was like the other night when I saw it for the first time. The girls got it, the models got it, and actually Apollo Summers is going to be in the opening too, which what he show plus usual performance. So don't be late for the show is what I'm telling everyone, because the first 4 minutes is really cool, right down to a timpani drum and lights and music and the whole works.
The opening, because the openings of Red Hot they're always spectacular, but they've gotten even more spectacular. And I mean, because it's really mind blowing. But you mentioned like when you see the vision come into reality, and I know that you had said that before, and I believe it was I think it might have been 2020 that you were like, yeah, that was how my vision was. So how does this happen where you how do you figure each year, oh, this is what we're going to do this year, and this is how we're going to do it? What makes you, where do you get that vision from? Like, where does that come from? Your art, your creativity?
Yeah, and that's always been my biggest fear in 20 years is, I'm 60 years old now. When I started the show, I was 40. I was young and worked, and it was different. I'm thinking, that's been my fears. When do I lose artistically? And I haven't yet, thank goodness. Thank God for that, and thank the art gods, and all of that. Thank you, Lord. But it starts at what's harder now is my health, my arthritis, getting around the city center on the concrete floors. That's it's, I think my body's harder on me now than my vision. Luckily, the vision's still there. How it starts is this, Terry. I just hear a song. I hear a song. I catch it. It stops me. And then I see something. And once I hear the song, I see a vision in my head. And then I start, and you don't want to be with me. It's usually when I'm driving in a car by myself. I'll hear something, I'll catch a song, and I'll Shazam it. Now it's so much easier with Shazam to know what the song is. I'll Shazam it. And then when I'm driving alone, like on a longer trip, I'll play it. You don't want to be with me because I'll play the same 60 seconds 20 times in a row, and I just keep seeing things. I hear the music and I see something in my head. I see a vision, and then the vision grows from there. And this one, I saw the vision of was wanting to watch, and then I was watching a show that Jackie, my fiance, watches, and it's called The Great, and it's like Catherine the Great from Russia. So I thought, hey, it'd be cool to use that wardrobe, those wonderful queen gowns. I said, well, I have a friend at Cranard. I've worked there before being in theater, I act. So called him up, and we went there. So we've got that. And then that leads to what about this and that? And then it all comes, we have this opening, and then it all comes together that I've opened a new hair school that's called the Royal School by ID Hair. And so, wait, this goes in with the opening of my show. It just kind of happens, one vision leads to another. Then you get there, then my son's there helping me, and then we do it. Then we say, what if we did this? What if we did this? And then once you see the vision, then you start tweaking it and makes it more and more powerful, and then it just comes together, The last big opening I had, was a song that my granddaughter gave me. She liked it, so it was The Greatest Showman. So I said, well, let me use that. So it was for her. You know, she's 13 now, by the way. The year before, the big of artsy thing was something I was watching. I was inspired by the movie Bohemian Rhapsody, and there was a scene in there I was watching one night. It's about the 5th time I saw the show, and I was watching it, and just saw it, just saw the vision. And then I just go and show everyone else what I've seen 100 times in my head. I just teach everyone else what I've already watched over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, I love that story. I wish I would have done an interview with you sooner, and we talked about how that comes about. I love that.
And even the whole show, like I watched the show, you know, I guess not everyone does. I don't know. I've always had this with every show. I'm old school. I use a piece of paper and a pencil or pen, a pencil usually to erase it, or I use my iPad then to put it in there and arrange things, because I'm not a great computer guy. And I just watch the show. Like I watched, you know, some of the arrangements. Well, I picked the songs, I give them to Guido. There's certain arrangements I want in there that I work with Amy Mitchell, and I actually work well with certain arrangements. We have this female rock section in the opening of the show that starts off that is really badass. And with some of your favorite songs, but how you arrange it. And we never ever use a whole song in Red Hot, and we always do medley. So it's like you hear in instead of like 20 songs, you'll hear like 50 songs in one show, because there, you know, it just flows. Because, and I think so I just watched the whole show, and that's how I put Red Hot Winter together. I just watch it in my head over and over, and then I show the cast what I've seen. And I think one thing that you always get a little fascinated with, Terry, and the hardest rehearsal, but the most important, is what I call transition rehearsals, how we rehearse the transitions from one act to the other, because that's what makes a show professional. That's what makes it different from a $10 ticket to a $150 ticket now, you know, or a $5,000 corporate sponsorship that I have. You know, tables start at $1,500 and go up to $5,000. My tickets start at $25 for standing room and go up to $150 for couches around the runway, right?
Yeah.
You got to go to winter.com to buy tickets, or save the ticket fee and call the salon, and we'll do it for you, minus $750 per ticket, right? Just call Rod Sickler Salon and Spa, stop by, or redhotwinter.com. And so the transitions of, you know, I'll make people walk on and off stage 5 times to get it just the right way. Nope, you handed that microphone with the right hand, not the left hand. It's got to happen with the left hand because it looks smoother. And to me, that no one notices that the acts change so fast. That to me is the ultimate direction. For me, the ultimate compliment is people, oh, you know, I didn't even really notice that. And that's what I want, because, you know, we'll have 25 acts in this show that happen one after another after another. Everything's 5 to 6, 7 minutes long. And then how do you do the next? So a lot of it's strategic planning on when do you put the comedian, when do you put the circus act, when do you do the music, when do we do the hair show, when do we do the lingerie show, when do we do all this, how do you do the, so, and that's one of the most difficult parts, is making sure the transitions happen smooth. And, you know, you have 15 singers, you've got a mic wrangler, Dougie Pew's back there wrangling 10 microphones to make sure that we're wiping down, because, and you know, Terry, we always wipe microphones even before COVID hit, because I'm OCD, you know that.
Yes,
so
yes. So you can be assured.
I said, no one uses the same microphone without wiping it down with a Clorox wipe.
You were ahead of the game on that.
Yeah,
But, you know, you did that very thing last year. In rehearsal, because their transition of the microphone from hand to hand was not the right hand they weren't using, and they did it a couple of times. You were like, no, and you were like, you have to transition it this way. You have to use this and do this, and watching you as a director of Red Hot is truly a fascinating time. And you are a whole different person. You're a whole different person when you're a director.
I'm a whole different person.
Yeah, you mean business. It's like, we're doing this show. It's going to be excellent. And I demand excellence out of every single one of you, every single person that's involved.
You know, I preface it working with my models. You know, I can, I can be sweet, kind, and nice, or I can be very direct, tough, and you'll be very proud of yourself that night. They always ask for that. And my way of looking at it is I don't want to waste people's time. And you have a cast of 100 people and a lot of musicians that want to, you have, I say there can only be one director in the show, and that's me. And it's one vision, it's mine. And if you want to do your own show, then, put your money on the line and write the check. And actor, when I act, people think I'd be difficult to work. I'm a peach. I do whatever the director asks me to because he's the director. Whatever he wants, I give it to him or her, right? And I don't.
Yeah, and you've been in theater like for years.
20 years.
Yeah.
And
you've got the experience of being an actor, and you're really great at everything you do. But you're exceptionally hard worker when it comes to Red Hot, and it's a lot of money and it's a lot of time, and it's well worth it. But it's one of the best shows that we have the privilege of having in our area. With that's a Red Hot winner is not that you can't get that anywhere else.
Thanks for saying your kind words, Terry. And I don't want Red Hot winter to be, oh, that's a good show for Champaign, Urbana. I want Red Hot winter to be a good show for Chicago, for New York, for Los Angeles, for Las Vegas. Like if people went to Vegas, they could come to Red Hot winter and it'd be, it wouldn't be like maybe one of those multi-million-dollar shows. But, I look at Absinthe, which is one of my favorite shows. It's going to be, my singers are, I think, I would hate to say better, but as good.
You can say it. You can say it.
I have more singers than they have. I picked my favorite acts from the show. Our comedians are great. So I want this to be, when I say Vegas come to Champaign, Vegas comes to Champaign. And I don't, I've been blessed to work all over the world doing shows and hair shows. And I don't want this to be, that show is okay for Champaign. I want this show. That show was great for what. And
I think that it's, I think that it's beyond, I don't ever mean to say like, it's okay for Champaign. I mean, Champaign's lucky we have that. We are so lucky.
I learned God helped me years ago when one thing I'll never say is this is going to be a great show because it's live theater and it's show business. I always say this has potential to be the most unbelievable show I've ever done, because when you say it's going to be, I think I'm superstitious that way. So what I know is we're putting the effort in for this to be the best show that we've ever had in 20 years. So I'm very humbled and superstitious by, God's blessings with what you can do.
Me too. I think that I'm looking forward to getting to rehearsal and starting to capture some of this and get it out there, get the word out and all that kind of thing.
Appreciate all you got. And one thing you'll see, Terry, this year, since it's our 20th year, we have all that stuff in the Google Drive, and Jen Watson's putting our PowerPoint together. So you're going to see a lot of your pictures over the last 5, 6, 7 years, whatever you've been with us. I've asked her to put a collage of those pictures together over the past years. So you're going to see your and Eric's work over the past years.
I am going to say, it's kind of cool to go to your website and see our photos up there, me and Eric's.
Red Hot winter.
Yeah. It is cool to see that, to see that's like your vision. With us, it's like seeing what we do, be presented or be printed or any of that kind of stuff is our work, brought to life. And that's how we feel about that too. But you can get tickets at redhotwinter.com, www. Or at Rod.
That's
Rod's Sickler Salon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anywhere else can you get tickets?
No, just those two places, redhotwinter.com. Probably you could go to rodsickler.com. It will link in there, or here at the salon, or just call us here at the salon and save yourself $7.50 a ticket. It's a lot easier that way.
Oh, see, you hear that, everybody? That's a good idea. What is your salon number?
217-403-1790. That's 217-403-1790.
Save yourself $7.50 and order them straight from the Rod Sickler Salon. Rod, you have had a banner year, really. I mean, you really have. You've got. Tell us what's going on with the salon, and
Well,
congratulations on your engagement.
thank you. Yeah, I got engaged this year to the true love of my life. It's been wonderful. I'm engaged to my best friend. It's amazing. I did that in June. We were able to, I feel blessed, especially through COVID. Here we are. Business is really good. We just did a full remodel of the salon. I just got our final piece, our stations, our brand new stations. They were being made by hand down in Georgia. They're really beautiful. They're on their way here. They'll be in Monday, hopefully, and then things will be complete. So we did a total renovation here at the salon, from new floors to new stations to new mirrors to this unbelievable wall, because the nail area moved to the back of the salon. We redid the spa here. We have the Showpiece Wall. I said, because where the nail area was, I took that, and I'll tell you more about that in a moment. So we have this beautiful wall with the logo that's going to be on at the front. Everything here, like if you were ever here before you walk in here, it's a totally different place. And
Awesome.
Our shampoo bowls are amazing. They lean back. You can kick your feet out with them, and it's just I'm very proud that we were able to do that. And then I have partners coming in from the Royal School down in Effingham, Chandra Ray Niemer and my partner Brian Furry at ID Hair, where we bought the Blossom Basket next door. And we're opening up a new hair school there, a cosmetology school called the Royal School, or actually the Royal University by ID Hair. And we're going to have a cosmetology program there, and it looks like a barbering program in the evenings, also a nail program. And so it's right next door. It all ties into my salon. So we have 7,500 square feet here with a doctor's office, and we're starting with Dr. Jarabek. We're starting a new weight loss clinic here that actually is a medication, pellets that you can get into your stomach that helps suppress your appetite. So we're starting that in March. So that's a new business starting here. We have the new school opening in March as well. The new hair school, the salon is new. And then my buddy and I from Copper Creek, we're getting ready to start a Christmas light decorating business for your home. So that's all in 2022.
I'm getting tired listening because I think I'm a little older than you. So you are really making it happen.
I should be retiring, but I get bored easy, and
oh no, I couldn't imagine there's no way. You're just like you're just getting all amped up, man. You're just getting started.
People have been asking me, when are you going to retire, Rod? I said, well, I'm thinking maybe 10 more years I'm going to retire. Then when I retire, I'm just going to go to 40 hours a week. That'll be my retirement. I'll play more golf, and I'm just going to work 40 hours a week in my retirement. And that'll be a breeze. That'll be easy. I can't wait for that. So yeah, so we have so far this year, Terry, in 2022, we have the remodel of the salon that we did, and Copper Creek did that for me as well in 8 days. We closed 8 days, and we're reopened on schedule. We're just finishing that up. We have Red Hot Winter in February, the new school opening in March, the new weight loss clinic opening here in March. And then let's see, hopefully I'll have Red Hot Winter on TV in April. Then in probably May, we're going to do a red carpet event here at the salon, hopefully with a band in the parking lot. And it'll be a grand opening of my new university salon in June. Then I'm going to play some golf in the summer, and then hopefully do a fundraiser for Aunt Martha's this fall. And then Jeremy, James, and I were going to open up our Christmas decorating business then in October. Is about the time we'll start decorating houses.
Ooh, it all sounds so fantastic. Like so fantastic. Just exciting.
Still be doing a lot of hair too.
Yeah, and still doing hair. Well,
yeah, I feel blessed. God's blessed me that I can still work hard, and that it's just I feel fortunate that I have these opportunities, and just trying to make the most of everything that He presents to me. So it's just
Yeah, you're very you're an extremely giving person, and you always give back to, you always give back, and that's important. And you're very smart, successful business owner. Um
Uh,
and
Well,
to
I don't know about all that, but I thank you for that. But I do know that I will always try to give back as long as I can. Terry, we had an interview a few years back after Christmas Carol, and you learned I grew up in a home where my father was disabled.
Mhm.
He was crippled and paralyzed, and that was. That was back in the 60s, and people weren't so kind and understanding back then. The people would look at us and mock us and point at us and laugh at us, and it was a hard way to grow up. So I'm sorry.
No, it's absolutely fine.
So now I want to give back anytime I can.
You
And then
have.
yeah, and it was hard. You remember I told you the story how my father died too, because he
Yes.
was capped and was hit by a
Yeah.
car in front of me. And you know, I just, now that as long as I'm healthy and as long as I have something, I want to do whatever I can to help someone else.
And you didn't, those tragedies, that tragedy with your dad, which I had no idea until I had interviewed you that time. So I was kind of like, I was really taken back because I was like, I didn't know that story. I had no idea. And then when you were telling it, I was just like, wow. I needed a minute, like now. And but those things, at least you didn't turn bitter and turn to, vices and different ways to deal with it. You just you just plunged forward, and you are so good to everyone. You are so good to everyone that knows you. You're so good to everyone that meets you. You're so good if anybody asks you, like, Rod, hey, can you, I've never ever, uh if I've needed anything and I went to you, you're right there. Even when I didn't go to you, you would, like, hey, Terry, there is this or that. You would, at least you provided avenues or accesses to things that that somebody may not know about. And you bring a lot of awareness to this community. You're very vital in this community. We're lucky. We are very lucky to have you in Champaign, Urbana, and the surrounding areas.
Thank you.
You're a very, I think a lot of times, and we talked about this in the first interview too, is I think a lot of times people have I don't know what's the word I'm looking for.
A preconceived notion of who I am.
Yes. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah. Perfect. Yes. A preconceived notion of who you are. And it just is just like, you're talking out your face, because that means nothing. Like, that you don't know Rod. You obviously don't know Rod. You've never been involved in anything that he's been involved in. So you know what? Don't, until shut up.
I think anytime you try to do something outside the box, which I do try to do things outside the box for
You
sure,
do.
especially with red hot winter. I think people misunderstand, or they don't know you. They get and you get hate. I always say, if you get haters, you don't get haters if you're not working hard enough, right? So if you're trying to do things, you're going to create some interest and some non-interest, but I can live with that, because deep down I think I have more friends and people that would consider me their friend than the average person. So I'll take the trade-off.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I just think you're great. You've always been good to me, like from the get-go, from the first time I ever met you. You've always been good to me. I've never seen you be actually not good to anyone. But you run
director.
what?
I'm just tough as a director, though.
Yeah, because knowing you in all these other ways, and then when I showed up, like the first couple of times, to Red Hot practice, and it was, I mean, it was on. I was like, I'm scared of Rod. Right now, I'm scared of Rod. He's intimidating. So I'm going to stay over here in this corner with my camera. But then, and then I just got to know you as a director. It's a whole different, you have to be that way. You have got multitudes of people and musicians. I'm sorry. I know a little bit about trying to organize musicians. It's like herding cats.
Herding cats. Yes, it is. I have so many talented people that work with me and help me, and a team of talented people. People have no idea what it takes. I mean, I'll start planning Red Hot for next year here in a few weeks, and it's, this takes forever to plan it. It's a full business to run it. There's the artistic end as the performers. There's artistic end as the director. And you have so many people that I feel that if I'm not a very direct and driven director, that I'm wasting their time.
Yeah. And you really don't have time to do that. You really don't, not with Red Hot. There's no time to.
If you want this to be a Vegas quality show, you have to work hard. And you have to be very succinct in what your direction is for everybody.
But I will say I've noticed in practice and during the show and after the show is there's a mutual respect between you and the musicians and those that come in to perform. There's a deep mutual respect, and it's there. And so I think they know that you're not going to be. You're like this for a reason, and they know that, and they respect it, and back and forth. So
here's the one thing people ask a lot of times, like if I teach a lot, sometimes I'll go in. I used to go back to my high school and teach, do guest speaking at the entrepreneur class, right? And because I'm kind of a serial entrepreneur.
I'd love to be in on one of your entrepreneur classes.
And when I talk about that, or if someone interviews, the one thing that I'm certainly not the smartest guy. I'm certainly not the most talented guy. I'm certainly not the most this or that. The one thing that I believe in that helps in any entrepreneurship or in anything like this, my biggest gift is a gift of relationships, of having relationships with people, and trying to do what you say what you do, try to be fair to people. Maybe you can't always have a perfect ending sometimes with things, but it's the relationships that you develop, relationships with the musicians that they'll still want to fly in for the show when they're down in Florida working. I have a great musical director now. Guido does a great job. I have a team of people that have worked with me for over 10 years, sometimes 15 years. And, the relationships that you develop with the agents, like for instance, my Cirque agent, the guy that serves it, Cirque out in Vegas that sends in these Cirque acts, we become friends, and he's coming in to see the show this year. He's coming in from Vegas to Champaign to see the show, to bring his people in, and if you don't, you could be a tough director when you're directing, but outside of that, you have to, have those good relationships with people, or, they're not going to, he's not going to vouch for a show in Champaign, Illinois, when they're working tonight in Vegas. They're not going to take the time off to fly, even though I love Champaign, but it's hard to get here. It's, there's not a direct flight here. There's no easy way to get to Champaign. So, and a lot of it is with these agents, it's like, hey, go to Champaign. There's going to be a great crowd there. It's going to be a top level show. They're going to treat you well. They're going to be nice to you. They're going to put you in a nice hotel. Those sort of things, that is important with show production to sustain something for 20 years. It's a really about, and in any sort of business period, I just think it really boils down to relationships. Even with my
communication, and it does.
Even in the hair world, Terry, I think, am I a good haircutter or not? I don't know. I'm blessed to be busy. I know that, but I think more than anything, it's the relationship you have with your customers too. I think it's that, I say people don't really know a 7 haircut from a 9 haircut. They know a 4 haircut from a 9, but not a 7 from a 9. But they know, hey, were you nice? Did you talk? Did I enjoy my time with that person one-on-one for an hour to 3 hours sometimes, if they're getting color or perm or something. So it's, if there's one thing I could say when it comes to in really in life or business that I've learned over the last few years, it's truly about having relationships with people.
Yeah, I have to 100% agree with you. So,
Yeah.
well, we probably better close this down. I think it's been almost an hour. See, time flies.
Yeah. So
but we,
that's Red Hot Winter, February 25th and 26th at the City Center. Go to redhotwinter.com for more information. See a lot of Terry's great pictures and Eric's great pictures on there from the years past. And you can call Rod Sickler Salon and Spa. Go to rodsickler.com for info, redhotwinter.com. And let's pack the house February 25th and 26th at the City Center, Red Hot Winter, the 20th year anniversary. Hope to see you all there.
Yes, you will. Congrats on your engagement and all the great things going on in your life right now. And just keep riding that. Keep it going.
Thanks, Terry.
We'll see you at Red Hot, Rod.
I'll see you a lot in the next month. Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your time.